Welcome once again to the Radical Imagination. I'm your host, Jim Vrettos. Over 400 million children, about one of every five, live in countries where there is war or other violent conflicts. They're often forced to flee their homes in search of safety. Many remain displaced for extended periods of time. Many never return. Over half of all civilians killed by landmines and explosive remnants of war are children. Verified attacks on children have tripled in 2010. And as this violence against them increases, perpetrators are rarely held accountable for their killing, maiming, sexual violence, abductions, and armed recruitment, or for attacks on their schools and hospitals. The effects of this structural violence results in the massive persistence and unnecessary mortality of children, which can only be described as a form of genocide. More than 10 million children die before their 5th birthdays every single year. And the immediate causes are usually a contribution and a combination of malnutrition and ordinary diseases such as diarrhea, malaria, and measles. Given adequate resources, they can be easily managed. The film director, Aldo Luliano, is our guest today on the Radical Imagination. He's known for his award-winning short films at Oscar-qualifying festivals, both in Italy and internationally. His soulful short, Dive, is a melancholic exploration of adolescent's love in a world driven by violence. The drama follows Roman and Julia, two young adults, enjoying the beauty and reconnection of their youthful innocence when their day out on the beach is suddenly shattered by the looming presence of war. A world so consumed with destroying the innocence of its young in a desire to find joy in life and enjoy the beauty of it is a world that's destroying itself and its own future. The film, Dive, has qualified for the 2025 Oscars. We're so happy for the first time to welcome Aldo to the Radical Imagination. Thank you so very, very much for being here. Are you calling from Italy, or where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm from Italy. I was born in southern Calabria, in southern Italy, in Calabria. But I live in Rome. But thanks for this invitation.
Well, thank you so very, very much. And as I received the clip, I put it on, and I was just stunned. I was just so moved by it, and I'm so grateful for your work. And it again is so important these days, especially as we escalate toward increased militarism and violence. And I think we almost take it for granted, or we're not aware of what we're doing, especially to our young, and the innocence that we're destroying. So tell me how this movie got created in your mind here.
Exactly. Wow, it's exactly the point. This world forgetting, the best part of ourselves, like humans, innocence. When I decided to tell this story, I was scared because it was the first time that arrived the news in Italy about the war between Russia and Ukraine. So I was very scared. In that month, my brother, in the same time, is a screenwriter.
Mm.
We worked together every time. He had this very little story about these two teenagers that plays into this dangerous beach. So
Mhm.
I arrived at the natural connection, this story and my sensation, my feelings. And then I decided to tell a very simple story about feelings between these two teenagers because I was scared from the war. So I thought that
Mm.
in that period I arrived at a lot of bad images from internet, from TV. So I was full of this, and I thought maybe we like directors, we are a great responsibility to speak to the people, no, with
Yeah.
cinema that is a very it's an important language. So I decided with images to try to put inside these 12 minutes a little story of feelings. So innocence. And what means innocence? I started to reflect, about innocence. Innocence is simple things. We stay together without words, without nothing. Maybe only watching to the sea, no? All of us in no in every moment of our life, no, when we was young, but now in the future
Yeah.
we will watch the sea and think about the future, but without words, and we share with the people that we love this
Yeah.
kind of things. So I tried to make a shot of these feelings, translating in images. So and I started to understand better my characters. But Ek, I want to share with you this kind of uh, scary moments when I started. Oh, look, and arrived the
Yes,
best,
we were
the
mentioning now.
cousin,
This is Jay's mother,
the most innocent human being or in the
creature
world,
in the world, and
creature in the world. Yeah,
we
yeah,
should
and
mention that Jay is the dog's name, and Jay's mother is in the film.
yeah, Jay's mother is in the full movie, and that's
Waiting,
and I put a dog because for me it's a sort of metaphor of innocence too. No, it's
right,
connected because dogs or animals are real
right,
connected with simple things, with simple feelings. So
yeah,
I put this dog that is a sort of a spirit of the shorts. Exist, doesn't exist, we don't know,
mm.
but that doesn't matter. But he walk into the beach, and then uh, he's alive at the end of this story. It's a little spoiler, but it's alive. So because I tried to put hope in this story,
The
because this
dog,
teenager
the dog,
started to do just a swim, a beer together, and I
right.
tried to put out of the frame the war, just to understand better their feelings. At the end, the war arrived. So, and that's the cinema. No, I used a cinematographic language to discover it with little step. No, the reality. But my first goal was to be focused on these simple little feelings, because
The-
in opposition with the horror of this time.
so important, so basic, and you're absolutely right. The responsibility of the filmmaker to change the narrative, or to give hope, or to show us what could be, and actually what most of us did experience as young people, and so many of us have become so evolved into beings that can't even begin to relate to that. And that's so important. But do you bring us back to that early time, and that you have to have a heart of rock, of stone, to not be moved, and in some way, hopefully at some point, all of us or most of us have had such an experience, whatever it may be, that we've been moved, we've been touched in certain basic ways. And as they again slowly and but very beautifully connect again. You also give us a little warning there, right there, as they move toward the beach to go in the water. There's a sign, right? Danger. Uh, Now, why did you? Okay, so you put that in as their, and they look at the sign. Nobody knows exactly then. At that point, what's going to happen, of course, but it's an omen, isn't it?
Yeah, they are brave. They are totally full of this love, no,
Yeah,
inside.
absolutely.
And then they decided they are brave. They just want to run and have this dive into their feelings. So yes, it's a very dangerous beach. Maybe this is their home, and the war is around. But at the end,
No, no,
the
no,
love wins.
Aldo, maybe just let me just say the beach isn't dangerous. It's the
Yeah, exactly,
people.
because the minds are these two teenagers in my
Yes.
imagination, and then no, this dive is like a bomb, but a bomb of love. No,
Yeah.
I tried to change the point of view.
Let me be a little, just a minute for personal here. Did you experience something like that? I mean, you're a young man now too, but when you were growing up,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now you could experience maybe more than one of
yeah.
those
Maybe
moments.
three times.
All right, three is that's a good number. Yeah,
It's a
and
good number. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
why not? And so you reached into yourself and remembering those, not that they were all these perfect times, but they moved you in a way that was transformation of your soul and of your heart. Correct?
And
I mean,
I remember one thing that I think that you remember too, because in your life too, no, you sure
yeah, I
you
have a couple of
the
memories too.
and I remember when the time is stopped, no, when the time change inside yourself and
Yeah,
around yourself, you are alone, you and the people that you love, no, and I tried to find inside myself these memories, and actually too I have a good relationship. So and with my actors we spent a lot of time, dinner, lunch together, speaking about our personal stories, no, about friendship, to understand this kind of freezing time, no,
yeah,
and we tried it together, me like director and my actors too, all together we tried to translate this kind of feelings in actions. So that's the reason why I put this beer, because we remembered a lot of episodes of beer into the beach, you know, and no, and the music. Come on, the music connected ourselves.
well, you're speaking my
We choose
language. Yeah.
no.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I happen on my father's side Greek, so I'm very close to where you are, and I love the beach, the water. It's in my soul. It's in my heart. The Greek, and we also are fortunate. We go out to Long Island, and I spent these moments, these precious moments, on the beach, and just connecting with the beauty out there. And you're right; it's everything sort of becomes in the background, and the that's what people are searching for. They're always looking for happiness and peacefulness and so on, and they're looking for it in all the wrong places, and through money and materialism and connecting and networking and all this sort of stuff. And you're up against a world right now, in particular, that is so rooted in that sort of narrative of revenge and retribution and greed and so on, and the loneliness that so many of us feel, uh, not only because of COVID, but because we are looking at each other through a computer here, and so we've lost that intimacy to a certain extent.
Exactly.
We've got to try and get back to that. Otherwise, what else is there?
I hope that we will come back, because now there is people that fight against what? We losing our humanity. So I think that it's important to remember these simple
Yeah.
things. And I remember I was shocked that when I started to study my story and the real and sad situation of the war. I remember a lot of videos from internet, about military, about
Yeah.
the reality is
Yeah.
bad now. There is a 50 war in the world, so not once. So,
Right.
but I was shocked in that period, in a positive way, when I watched this video of normal people that in Odessa and in Kharkiv there was a lot of military that put mines under the sea, under the sand.
Yeah.
But I was shocked by the normal people that continue to go there with umbrellas to take sun and then go to swim. That's the reason why we have a big force inside ourselves to continue to survive, to fight against all this
And begin
horror.
begin to dismantle some of these minds as well, which is
What
and people still are organizing to dismantle. We're still digging up stuff from Vietnam, for Pete's sakes. I mean, that was what, 60 years ago.
So we
So
want to survive. No,
right,
it's a paradox for me that
right,
today we are preparing a spaceship to survive in other planets, but in the same time, it's a paradox here. We self-destroying ourselves. So come on, stop. We
yeah,
need peace. We need to come back to the beach to no to reconnect ourselves. First of all, we need to reconnect ourselves with no with our spirits, and then start to come back to this another a positive approach to the other people around us. So
yeah,
I tried to put all this sensation in my short film in only 12 minutes, because for me short film is a very strong instruments to tell a story, because in few minutes you can send a good message in a better way. So
yeah.
I tried to make a short, very short, but with all these things and the use of music too. We spoke about the music, I
Speak,
started with this beautiful song with this beat, that you
yeah,
dance, because a lot of people during the set, people dancing with the actors, and in the theaters. In this trip around the world, watching dive with the audience. I see the head of the people that start to do this when the movie starts. But at the end, the music change, and then the reality arrives, and this beautiful moment with the nature totally change, and the music became a sort of crying. Is mother nature that crying because their children his children fight against, so it's a sort of strange and strong moments, and I tried with music too to use these 12 minutes to do all of this.
what kind of music? Tell me again, the music you used in the last couple of minutes there.
The
What,
last
what was very
is a
powerful?
it's a from Kosovo. It's an ancient song that speaks about a man that leave his country because of the war. So it's a very sad song performed by the great Elsa Lila, and
Hmm.
arranged by Enrico Melozzi. Is one of the best composers that we have in Italy. I worked with him a lot of time. So he suggested me this song. When I put this song with my editor Marco Spoletini, is my personal incredible editor. We spend a lot of time to speak about not editing, but about these feelings. And when we put there this music, something magic happens. because these images under the water became a sort of dream. And then, no,
Very much so. Very much so.
sometimes in cinema happens, I don't know, I can describe, no? And then,
you know what? That's the way to describe it, by saying you can't describe it, because music touches the soul in a way that words can't even do. So
exactly.
but there's so many questions that are popping into my head here. Tell me about some of your own influences, some of the cinema people that we talked a little about Hitchcock, for example, but it reminds you so much of, here is this, an ordinary, wonderful, loving day at the beach, and suddenly the intrusion of something you don't really expect, and danger, and so on. I mean, go ahead. I mean, Hitchcock was
Yeah. I remember when my mother showed me the movie of Hitchcock. So for me, Hitchcock was an incredible master, because now he decided exactly the moment when people and the audience have to discover this and this and this. So about the structure, visual structure, for me is a big master. But I love Stanley Kubrick too. I have all this poster because the movie of Stanley touched the very important point of ourself, like human beings. Using different genre, I like to mix the genre, no? And I love Federico Fellini too, because he had his incredible world, no? So every time I tried to, yeah.
Can I just go back for 1 second? Okay, to Hitchcock, North by Northwest, as you're talking, right? Cary Grant out in the cornfields. Here comes that plane.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, right?
Exactly. But there is a lot of movie that I love, the Frenzy, or all the movie, all the moments.
Birds.
Yeah, exactly. So I love the connection that he have with the audience. Sometimes audience knows before the protagonist or after. So if you remember Dive, I played with this dangerous beach, because there is this skull that tell you that
the sign,
the beach is dangerous. But there is these two teenagers that dance, and don't see. I put in the distance the skull. So
and
I love this kind of.
Yeah, although if I may, the timing is impeccable, because in a sense you see the sign, and then they go in the water, and it's slowly you forget about it. The audience, most, I think, are now in the water there and in the dive, but here comes, when they come out again in a very loving way, we are suddenly brought into that reality of that sign. It's no longer a sign. I don't want to give things away, but it is an attack.
It was one of the most difficult part, because with the director of photography, Daniele Cipri, we worked a lot about this imaginary world. And I started to build these images under the water from a beautiful paint of Arthur Diefenbach. He's a German painter. I loved the blue, the black inside their paintings, and because they speaks about love and death. So, but the most difficult part, it was mixed the dive and this hidden world. This is the world of their hearts. So we worked a lot on color grading too, to mix this part, and I decided with audio to connect, because the dive, you can hear this dive like a bomb, and then you go inside this underwater world. But yeah, it was very difficult. But at the end, I'm very happy for these results because you
Yeah.
forget the reality. That's the point. I love the
Yeah.
movie of Steven Spielberg, one of my favorite directors. I love that one day maybe he could watch my shorts or my movies because he is incredible because you forget all and then you can walk into this world and in the same time inside yourself. So I tried to do this kind of things under the water and with the actors. I remember it was very difficult because they was blind, no, because under the water it's impossible to watch. But
They
they
connected.
studied this sort of dance and to feel each other. So
Huh.
and we arrived at this shot. So it was difficult, yeah. But at the end, we followed this kind of sensation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now you spare the audience. Well, again, not giving things away, but you chose, or did you? Well, you obviously did choose to not show uh, the actual physical violence that may have happened. Was that why did you do that, or if was that what purpose you trying to show?
Um, yes, there's no blood, there is no war inside the frame, but you feel. I think that the most scared things is that the things that you imagine.
Mm,
So maybe at the end they can maybe they finish their life because of the bomb or they survive. We don't know. But the point is because I was just focused at the reflection of the audience that these two beautiful teenagers at the end of the story they can't hear the same funny songs like when we start this
yeah,
story. So if they survive they can't hear this music because they grow up in a very bad way
yeah,
because of war, and if they died they can't. So the point is what kind of moment of our life like human beings we living. We really we wanna continue this, or maybe we can show inside ourselves and think about.
yeah. No, and it's a cinematic technique, leaving the audience in a sort of limbo, because again, anyone who has any sort of heart and soul really begins to feel for these people. So what you're creating at the end there is this question: do they make it? Do they survive? And then it gets the audience to think, "Wow,
I
uh,
decided,
yeah,
especially in that point with the Marco, we spend a lot of time to understand because in the screenplay there was this running, arrived at the bomb, and then these two teenagers start to
yeah,
run, but the waves canceled the footprints, so it's very difficult to run. No, there is bomb around, but at the end, remembering the reality with the Marco, we thought, but when the war arrives, you don't have time to think about nothing. All
yeah,
your life changes in 1 minute. So we
yeah,
decided to put the reality in a very bad way. So the war
yeah,
arrives and then broke all, and then forget the cinema, forget the rules of the cinema, and then run with them, run. And people needs in the theater to be scared for this because yes,
absolutely.
when if arrive the war, totally is finished. There's no hope. So to fight against this, we need to think about the starts of the movie when we hearing the song.
And mobilizing people to feel that, so they will then go out and do something. And that's what the cinematographer is trying to do here. You know what? As you were talking, this is the first time we've met, but the few minutes we had before the show, I mentioned that one of the clips we're going to be using is Stanley Kubrick. And again, this is I think, a 1964 movie, Dr. Strangelove. And when, we're not going to be able to see the clips here, but you'll see it at a later point. But for those in our audience who've seen it, you have this incredible scene where Slim Pickens, right? Okay, they're attacking the Ruskies, as he calls it, with his cowboy hat and the Russians. We're in the height of the Cold War, so here we go, and something jams up. They've got the bomb, it jams up, and they're going to explode unless they can find some way of releasing this bomb as they get closer and closer to the target. So somehow Slim Pickens is there. He opens the door and he ends up riding, like he's on a bucking bronco. Which, by the way, I looked him up, and that was what he did do. He was a horseback rider, a bucking bronco rider in his youth. Anyway, the point is, remember, I'm an academic. I get carried away here, but all right. The point I'm getting at is that's the scene that he is now riding this bomb, and it's going to hit the Ruskies, and he's going to die, and who knows what else is going to happen. This could be World War III, and so the audience is taken on this role. They're seeing this happening, and then of course at the very end, which I've also included, Kubrick has left us with music again, if you remember, and this sort of song, "We shall meet again," and this and that. No, we won't. We won't. So, I mean, this. I like the juxtaposition of the innocence and also the harsh cruelty that we're up against, and you're not mincing words here. If you okay,
In front of the master, Stanley Kubrick, I can tell nothing.
no,
But I followed your reflection, and what I can tell you.
no, but these are precious moments of your own study that has been incorporated in your wonderful work, and you're carrying on a sort of tradition that is so desperately needed these days. That's what I'm trying to get across here. Also, and um,
I think that when
yeah,
when the team I remember, I want to share with you this beautiful moment into the set, but one of the most difficult part was the dance, no, on the bomb during the short. And I remember that we spent a lot of time with Daniel and Veronica to speak about the situation now there in Ukraine, and then oh, my dog, when I speak about war, is not good. Hey, I know. And at the same time, we spend time speaking about these funny moments with the song. So in that moment, I understand the cinema.
Yeah. And do you remember that beautiful
Sorry,
scene?
it's my dog.
No, it's wonderful. It adds to it. It adds the whole dimension. It's the real. You remember that wonderful scene at the end of Zorba the Greek, Theodore
Yeah,
Rocket, with the music and the disaster of their project, and
yeah.
Alan Bates and Anthony Quinn look at each other, and I think Quinn says, "Boss, the only thing you're missing is that a certain craziness." And they look at each other, and there's laughter, and they end up dancing into the sea again. And the sea is so very important. I mean, it is we come from the sea, right? This
Yeah,
is our beginnings, our origins, but again, the dance, the music, and to get people to get back to those basics again, to be innocent. So what? This project failed. So what? Life goes on. It's not the end of the world, and it's not the most important part of what we have
exactly.
been led to
We need to do this. We need to come back to this. It's a need. It's a need. We need it.
make love,
So
not war. Yeah. But let me ask you about uh, briefly about your work as a cartoonist. How did
one
this?
second that I opened the door because my dog continued to interrupt the
No,
interview.
it's
One
okay.
second, I opened the door.
All right. Go right
Because
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
exactly. Oh, great. Sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. We
It's
love dogs.
natural time for him. He has to go and then
Well, does he? Okay. Well, we won't get into. He's going to let himself out, or it's the backyard, whatever it is. Okay, you're going to make reference. Okay, you're going to work that out with Jay. There, but as a cartoonist now, how did this all prepare you, if it did, to your work?
but yeah, I do a lot of storyboards of my scene because yeah, the I have a lot of visual ideas. So I after the screenplay, I spend a lot of time to understand if I can put inside the story something. So a double lecture of the scene. So storyboards helps me to do a second write, and
I
then
see.
it's very very important. I spend a lot of time to make sketch um, for the character too, but especially I decided every time with my assistant director to build two three different solution of the scene. So
I see. So it's another way of expressing yourself creatively about what's going on in your head. It could be music, it could be cartoons, it could be storyboard, it could be painting. Correct? Is that what you're?
yeah, I used
Yeah,
a lot of I spend a lot of
different
time to drawing,
genres.
and
Yeah,
especially the scene, the underwater scene. I understand a lot of things making storyboards better because it was very difficult to shoot. So I decided to stop the camera and move the actor, like, because my director of photography Daniele told every time Buster Keaton was the camera, because he
yeah.
moves and the camera was stopped, so
And exactly, and he did all his stunts, didn't he?
exactly, so the
Every
camera is Buster Keaton. So I remember this lesson, and I decided to under the water to stop the frame. So if you remember dive, there is all this shooting, the camera is stopped, so
yeah,
I storyboards to understand this, and at the end we decided to do this little painting, and the actor using the actor to build the scene. So but I
right.
spend a lot of time on storyboards. For me, drawing is an incredible gift that Mother Nature gives me. So helps me to do cinema.
Well, yeah, and I come from an artistic family as well. My grandfather was an artist, my mother was an artist, and also musicians and so on. So the combination is so. I've got to ask you, did you have a happy childhood? I
Oh,
think
what? I can hear
did
you.
you have a happy? I'm being a little personal. Did you have a happy childhood?
Happy?
Happy, yeah. You growing up,
I don't understand. So sorry,
oh,
because the audio.
happy. Were you happy as a child? Were
Ah,
you?
yeah, yeah. So,
You would go
sorry,
to the
because the
movies
audio was not
alone?
good. Sorry. Yeah,
No, it's okay.
yeah. I started with drawing and then I continued. I never decided to be a director because I grew
And
up with my stories.
what did your parents do? What did your parents do? Is your mother an artist or?
No, no. My father was in a fuel. He was a commercial with in a gasoline station. He worked in a gasoline station, and
Okay.
my
All right.
mother in a house.
All
So
right.
no,
Okay. All
no.
right. But they loved you very, very much. I can tell.
But they permits me to dream. I think it's the best
Yeah.
gift. Now
Oh,
they
that's
watched my movies from there, and
oh.
then yeah,
If
I
I may,
had a very beautiful yacht.
yes, if I may, if are you? How old are you, roughly?
44.
Oh no. See, I would have guessed
I'm not
late
young,
20s.
but
Late
inside
20s.
maybe.
Very much so. And I think what you've done is also speak to a generation. You sort of a bridge. I mean, you know, Buster Keaton, Hitchcock, Kubrick, and all the Italian Fellini and so on. In your short span of living here, you've incorporated so much. And I think you're giving to a generation that has not experienced that. So I just, with great love and respect, I admire so much what you're doing. And gosh, I'm looking at the time here, though I wanted to talk to you about some of your other works like Penalty and Space Monkeys, but we have only about a minute or so left. And let me just say this: your uh, dive is qualified for the 2025 Oscars. So maybe in some way, uh, Spielberg will get a chance to watch your uh, your show. That would be wonderful. And if not, you know, there's a wonderful Hamptons Film Festival. We can talk about that. I don't know if you've applied for that, but you know, he's out there. He lives in LA, of course, too, but East Hampton. So there's a lot of locals who would be coming out and seeing that. So maybe that's something to maybe plan on. Uh,
Oh my gosh, could be a dream.
well, we
And
just have to
that
listen in.
Oscar campaign, it was a little dream because first of all, I spend a lot of time with people around the world, so it's a great gift. And then, I hope that this short film continue his trip. And maybe one day, my dream that Stephen will watch. Maybe I don't know, but
Well, you
yeah,
know
I'm
what?
I'm very happy now because going around this little story, and I hope that open the hearts of people first of all, and then I hope to continue to do movies in this way because for me it was a very professionally and for me like human was a very incredible experience dive.
I hope you too, very, very much so. And you certainly opened my heart. And I've been involved in the anti-war movement my whole life, and I was profoundly moved by your film. So continue the good work and much love and blessings. And I hope when you come to New York, we'll get together. Okay?
I never
And
been in New York. I hope very
why not?
soon. It
Very
will be
soon.
my
That would
first
be great.
time. We will go to take something good, and then when you come in Italy, I will be your guide.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. That sounds
Great.
terrific. Thank you so much, Aldo. It's been a real pleasure. And
My
unfortunately, we're out of time. But again, the short clip here is called "Dive," and it's again going to be qualified for the 2025 Oscars. Keep your eyes on it. Never know. You never know. And look, this is Jim Vrettos. Thank you very much for watching us here on the Radical Imagination.